Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah, coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray that the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we're going to get into a little more confirmation of the information that the Most High has been giving us concerning the ley lines, concerning our structures, concerning the fact that they just built all of their churches on top of our structures, and they just, admit to it, so flippantly in this video, just like, we did this because we built our churches on top of yours in order to, destroy the witchcraft or the demon worship that you guys were doing. We were going to build our places on top of that, which is a bunch of BS. That we understand now that they've all been just trying to tap into our powers, our energies in these certain spots. So we're going to take a real quick look at this video here, where the church is built on top of Inca temples in Cusco, Peru. Just funny how they just admit it now. But see, when they were before, they didn't talk about how these were the Hebrews, that this was their setup. This is something the Most High set up for His people. They didn't. As long as it's somebody else, it's okay. As long as they just destroyed it and copied somebody else, it's okay. But now it's coming out that it was the Most High's chosen people that you destroyed, and then you hid all of their relics, secret locations, sacred locations, and tried to hide everything. And you wanted to become them so bad, and you've been able to do that for such a long time. But now it's coming out that it was all a lie. And this joins hand in hand with how everything else is starting to heat up as well. But let's just concentrate on this real quick. This is going to be the first of a couple of videos for today.
This is the Church of San Cristobal in Cusco, Peru. And it was built on top of a more ancient Inca site. Now, you may think that's uncommon, but that's not true, because all of the oldest churches in the city were built directly on top of Inca sacred sites.
Now, not some, all of them. So that just confirms that they took the same policies that they had over there in Britain and Ireland and Europe, and they just translated that over here to the Americas as well. Build the churches on top of their sites. We don't want them to ever realize that they had all this power, that they had all this knowledge. Oh no, hell no, they can't understand that. Build churches on top of everything. We don't want to hear. We don't want them to figure out any of this stuff. We're going to make sure that they never make it back to the Most High. And see, if you listen to Gentiles, there's no way you would ever get this information and this understanding without the Most High and without the Holy Spirit. So again, let's listen to this because he just admits it. All of these, sacred sites have churches built on top of them. Not a couple, not some. And like I said, this was their policy. Just like we talked about in the last video on the Ley Lines book. So now we have confirmation that this is, like I said, a worldwide policy from the Church of Mahan. Right? So that's why them keep saying that all Americas are going to be destroyed. They're going to destroy everything here. Thermonuclear destruction. No, it's not. I said, because all these people did, why do you have to destroy everything when all you got to do is sweep the lands of these people who don't belong here? All the Most High has to do is sweep the lands back off, sweep these people off these lands, get them the hell up out of here, rejuvenate the land, activate our power sites, give us everything back that we had before, and we got heaven on earth once again. You don't need a bomb to do something that a broom can do. We don't need to destroy everything. Just the Most High is going to destroy the ones that are here. We're going to get into that even more in a little bit. So like I said, he's confirming right here that this was their policy. This was what they enacted. And people who are still in these churches are all, definitely going hand in hand with the wicked. If you're still in these churches that have been lying about our history this entire time, this is why it talks about, if you join hand in hand with the wicked, you're going to be destroyed as well. You're starting to now, the Most High is releasing and is actually showing everybody, what these people have been doing. And if you want to keep joining hand in hand, be my guest. Let's listen to this again.
This is the Church of San Cristobal in Cusco, Peru. And it was built on top of a more ancient Inca site. Now, you may think that's uncommon. That's not true, because all of the oldest churches in the city were built directly on top of Inca sacred sites. Now, this situation is not unique to Cusco, nor is it unique to Peru or South America, but it's a global phenomenon. When one foreign group invades and takes over a people, they also do such things as destroy their places of worship, and then on top of that, they build theirs. So all of the old churches in Cusco are built on ancient Inca ceremonial sites. Now, in the case of the Inca...
Now, most, they make it seem like, oh, this is what everybody does. When they go and take over someone else's land, they destroy their sacred sites. Well, first of all, this was something that shouldn't have been done in the first place, remember? Most High talked about it definitely being, that happening to us because we messed up. But originally, everyone was given their lands. They made a pact not to go and take someone else's lands. So when they're saying things like this, like, oh, well, everyone does that. Well, that's not true. That's what you guys do because you guys are vagabonds. You guys don't have a land, and the Most High allowed you to come over. Because all the stuff you guys did, the Most High allowed. But at the end of that time, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to have to pay for that. Simple as that. So just because I've heard this many times when I've talked to Gentiles, it's like, well, everybody does that. No, they don't. Most people have, before with Noah and his sons, they made an agreement. They made a covenant. These are your lands. These are your lands. Do not take someone else's lands. If you do, you're going to curse your line. Simple as that. And that's what's been going on right now. So, but they always say things so nonchalantly, like it's not a big deal. Hey, everybody does it. Everybody goes in and takes everybody else's land. Everyone goes ahead and they just go ahead and just destroy your secret sites and sacred sites and go ahead and throw our churches on top of them. Everybody does it. See, that's what they've been able to do the whole time. But now they're going to realize that those actions come with a curse, and the curse is now falling on them.
Inca, their sacred sites were called huacas, and that's what you're looking at on the right side of the screen. This is an ancient outcrop of stone, but we will be able to see carved surfaces on it, indicating that it was manipulated by people on purpose.
Let me keep on going. This wasn't the part I really wanted to talk about too much. But he's going to get to the church, I think, pretty soon. Another church.
We're now approaching San Blas, which is mainly colonial, but also Inca as well. We're going to have a look at the church here. and see if we can see any megalithic or Inca elements. This wall here is likely Inca, not finely put together.
Skip on up.
Which means that it obviously had something as well to do with sunrise and sunset.
Yeah, right here. Let me go back a little bit.
And the caretaker inside just told us that it was once an Inca temple dedicated to lightning. Also, it's aligned basically perfectly east-west, which means that it obviously had something as well to do with sunrise and sunset.
Look at that, that's amazing right there. See the difference.
Now, the wall on the left here is called Inca, but modern day engineers have no idea how the Inca could have made this with bronze tools. And so this is something which is in fact megalithic pre-Inca.
Exactly.
And here we have
Here's the main church right
the
here.
cathedral. The cathedral is built on top of the palace of the High Inca, or one of the High Incas. And beneath it, believe it or not, there's supposed to be a tunnel, or at least possibly several tunnels, but there's one known tunnel that was mapped using a helicopter and ground penetrating radar. And it goes all the way from Sacsayhuaman to the Holy of Holies of the Inca, which is called the Coricancha, down that way. So there's Sacsayhuaman, and actually San Cristobal, where we started this video. But there's Sacsayhuaman off to the right, and the tunnel is believed to go from there under the ground all the way that way.
So it's just the first, so just enough more confirmation, of what we had in the last video, talking about how they had their, they had they said the things that they wanted to do as far as go ahead and destroy the temples, our sacred places. Okay, and their policy was to destroy them and then build churches on top of them. And this was a chance to actually see it in person. And now we know that the people that they were actually stealing this information from and building on top of were our people, which we knew for sure, but now we're getting even more and more confirmation. Okay, and it's not always the ones that were there that are there today. They love to make it seem as if it's the ones that were there today, and it's like some of them could be just it's no different than saying that all Negroes are this and all Mexicans are this and all South Americans are this or Brazilians are this. We're all mixed in. So it's all about the spirit and who the Most High is awakening here in the last days. So this is just the first one. I just want a little bit of confirmation of them building on top of our sacred sites worldwide, and this was their policy. All praise is to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahushai. Shalom.